Just let you're watching Tibet This Week. Today's headlines. His Holiness the Dalai Lama speaks on making 21st century a peaceful century. Sikyong releases a book and a short film to counter Tibettv propaganda. Sikyong calls on the Indian Minister of Human Resources and Development. China Desk organizes the 4th annual Chinese Liaison Officers meeting in Dharamshala. Office of Tibet in Brussels calls on member of European Parliament. The Russian capital holds first international conference on Buddhism and phenomenology. CTA's spokesperson responds to China's attack on Nepal over former Prime Minister's public appearance with Sikyong. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is currently in Japan for a 17-day public engagement, encouraged the youngsters to envision a more peaceful and happier 21st century. While having an interactive discussion on Buddhism in 21st century last Thursday with 3,000 students and teachers of Shifu Gakuen Boys High School in Osaka, Japan's third largest populated city, His Holiness expressed appreciation for the spirit and determination of Japanese people to build from the ashes of 2 nuclear bomb catastrophes. His Holiness said that the human beings have brains and intelligence to use in constructive or destructive way. However, our actions will become positive and productive if we use our brain with wisdom and warm-heartedness. His Holiness also paid his first ever visit to Hokanji Temple in Kyoto and delivered a public talk on theme Essence of Buddhist Teachings. His Holiness said that developing a compassionate heart can be a force to make a peaceful 21st century. This is His Holiness's 23rd visit to the country since his first visit in 1967. On Monday this week, Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Sengye launched a new documentary film and a book providing factual explanations on the worship of controversial spirit Tibettv. To counter the false narrative of religious persecution provided by a section of people calling themselves Shukden followers, the 13-minute documentary film titled Shukden Protesters, Allegations versus Facts explores the Tibettv group's claims and CTA's responses and policies, while the 365-page book is an updated version of an earlier book featuring articles on Tibettv by noted Buddhist scholars and also includes the Tibetan translation of Reuters' article titled China co-opts a Buddhist sect in global effort to smear the Dalai Lama. Addressing the launch, Sikyong said it is with the objective of clarifying the Tibetan administration's stand and to expose the blatant contortion of the facts by these misguided fringe groups that we are releasing this book and film to provide factual and truthful information on the matter. While acknowledging the decrease in public protests by these groups, DIIR Information Secretary Dadun Shaling said there is a sharp rise in their activities on digital space and social media to spread misinformation among the international community. She further said it is clearly evident that the Tibettv activities have become a tool for the Chinese government to slander His Holiness the Dalai Lama, demean the Tibetan people's faith in His Holiness, delegitimize CTA and weaken the foundations of the Tibetan struggle. The book and the film, produced by the Department of Information and International Relations, is the latest in a series of efforts by the department to provide truthful information about the issue and raise awareness about the group, which has a notorious history of violence, including murder within the Tibetan community. On Monday last week, Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Sengye, along with Kalyong Utuptsiring of Department of Education, met with Sri Prakash Javadekar, Minister for Human Resource Development, Government of India, in Delhi. During the meeting, Sikyong urged the HRD Minister to expedite the transfer of remaining 14 schools under Central Tibetan Schools Administration by apprising the urgency of the situation. He also briefed the Minister about the overall improvement in the previously transferred schools. The HRD ministers assured Sikyong of a positive decision in the case. On Wednesday last week, Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Sengye graced the 4th annual coordination meeting of Chinese liaison officers organized by the China Desk of Department of Information and International Relations. Sikyong mentioned that the Chinese outreach program has been one of the high priority agendas of the 14th as well as the present 15th Kasha. Sikyong further said that His Holiness the Dalai Lama has constantly encouraged dialogue with Chinese people as the only way forward in resolving the Tibetan issue and to assuage the sufferings of the Tibetans inside Tibet. The Kasha remains steadfast in its commitment to forge better communication with the Chinese diaspora, to dispel the misinterpretation aspirations of the Chinese Communist Party and to inform the Chinese people of His Holiness's position on the resolution of Tibetan issue and reconciliation of the two communities. Secretary Sonam Norbu Thakbo of Department of Information and International Relations, in his introductory remarks, welcomed the participants and gave an overview of inception and implementation of CTA Chinese outreach programs. The three-day meeting discussed strategic plans and measures for CTA's Chinese outreach programs. 37 participants from 4 countries, including India, Taiwan, Europe and United States, took part in the meeting. Representative Tashi Phuntsok of Office of Tibet in Brussels called on Ms. Molly Scott Cato, a Green member of European Parliament from the United Kingdom and one of the 4 vice chairs of the Tibet Interest Group in the European Parliament. During the meeting, the representative expressed his gratitude for the continued support of the members of the European Parliament for Tibet. He also brought to her attention the vital role of the European Union and the European Parliament on the issue of Tibet. They also discussed a wide range of activities to be carried out in the European Parliament in the near future, including and in particular the upcoming visit of Ms. Nyimalhamo, the niece of late Tugu Tenzin Rinpoche, to Belgium and France. The Office of Tibet Moscow, together with the Safe Tibet Foundation, hosted the first international conference on Buddhism and phenomenology in the capital of Russia. In his opening address, the honorary representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to Russia, Mongolia and CIS countries, Telo Rinpoche, expressed his hope that this conference will become an annual or biannual meeting, providing a platform for exchange of views, dialogue and discussions between the representatives of different philosophical traditions. The conference hosted Geshe Thupten Chimba, a prominent Buddhist scholar and principal English translator to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who delivered 2 public talks that drew a wide-ranging discussion among public on topics from cultivation of compassion to the global ecological issues. The conference brought together famous scholars from Denmark, the United States, India, France and Hong Kong. News emanating from Nepal last week reported that China has expressed concern over commitment of Nepal's new government to Nepal's long-held One China policy. Former Prime Minister of Nepal and current president of the ruling party, Nepali Congress, Sher Bahadur Deuba, came under severe attack from the Chinese government over his public appearance with the Tibetan political leader, Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Sengye. Nepali media broke the story about Chinese government expressing anger over Deuba's presence at India Ideas Conclave held in Goa. The leading Nepali daily, the Republica, reported that China grew highly suspicious of the commitment of the new government to the One China policy, especially after Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba participated as one of the key speakers in a conference which was also reportedly attended by the Prime Minister of Tibetan government in exile Lobsang Sengye in Goa. Chinese embassy officials in Kathmandu, according to the sources, had immediately communicated their displeasure to Nepali Congress leadership as well as the Foreign Minister Prashant Saran Mahat. CTA spokesperson Mr. Sonam Norbu Thakbo responded to the China's accusation regarding alleged incident.
The fact of the matter is His Holiness the Dalai Lama did not attend the conclave. His Holiness' video message was aired from Dharamsala. The Tibetan political leader Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Sengye was one of the key speakers at the prestigious conclave, but Sikyong did not request nor have any meeting with Deuba. The whole issue created by the Chinese government over Deuba's presence with Sikyong at India's Idea conclave is an infringement of the Chinese government into Nepal's internal matters. This shows China's tendency to make a mountain out of molehill when it comes to handling the Tibet issue. It also shows China's insecurity over the growing prominence of exile leadership. It also shows how China interferes in the internal affairs of a sovereign state. Since Nepal is an independent nation, we truly believe that Nepali leaders are free to travel and engage in any activities that are important for its nation, and no third country should interfere.
That's all for the week. We'll be back next Friday.